Welcome back. I am Mr. JDM, and in today's video it's just a continuance of the last video where we clean out the engine bay. We start doing a little bit of welding, so stay tuned and let's get this video rolling. All right, now we're going to start removing all this stuff on the driver's side. All right, let's work on this speedo cable some more. All right, I'm gonna work on this for a little bit. We'll be back. All right, so I'm not really gonna record any of this just because the cicadas are extremely loud, and all I'm doing is I'm going to remove all this stuff and sand it down, get rid of the rust. I'm gonna prime it and then paint it. When I get to the painting stage, then I will record that. But these cicadas are just out of control. So I watched this video on, this guy was doing an engine bay tuck and shave. And so I decided to weld some holes. I'm not doing a shave, but I am gonna fill some holes. So we're gonna do that one. We're gonna do that one, those. We got some down here. And I already did that one. It's ugly, but we're gonna work on it. I'm just testing out my skills, basically. Alright, so these don't look too bad. You need to grind that one, and that one needs to be filled a little bit more. Same thing with that one. That one needs some filling, and so do those. But, you know, it's a lot of work. and it can be done. I was just trying to see if I could do it and what it takes to do it, because one day I would like to, you know, shave an engine bay, but it is definitely a lot of work. All right, so we got this side primered. We covered up all the paint. You can see where I did that. It ain't pretty, but this is the stage where you would go over it with some short strand fiberglass, and I'm not doing that, so this is as good as it gets. These down here turned out pretty good, but we're just gonna primer it and then sand it down a little bit more. I'm gonna work on that one a little bit better, but I just didn't want it to rust. Right now we're working on the brake booster. Technically I should remove it, but I'm not doing all that. So we're just gonna sand it down to the best we can and then paint it or primer it, and we're gonna paint that black. I feel like the brake cylinder, the master cylinder, leaks, but I don't know. And then we're gonna sand all this, remove some of this. I thought about cutting some of these tabs off. That's for the fuel filter though, but this one over here, thought about cutting off. I don't know, that's way too much work. More work than I really want to get into. We're gonna sand all this down and primer it. All right, we got the OEM traction bar sprayed down with degreaser. We scrubbed it a little bit. We're gonna get this thing ready to paint, primer it, and then paint it. We're gonna do a little sanding first, but we're gonna clean this thing up first. All right, we got our brake booster painted, and when I paint the bay, I'm just gonna tape that off, and all the lines are gonna be black. And one thing I noticed though, somebody welded these on here, and when I get my new radiator, I'm gonna have to move this one to over here because I've got a full-size radiator. I don't know why they did that. I guess they had a half radiator, but we got that primered. We're gonna resand it though, and then all the rust spots over here I ground down and primered them. So we're getting there. We're really just waiting on more paint because I ordered it from Amazon because it's like $1 cheaper per can. So we're just waiting on that. And I want to go ahead and sand this down, but I'm not going to do that till I get the primer because it's just going to rust. It's all supposed to come like tomorrow or Saturday, but we're getting there. We are definitely getting there. All right, one thing I forgot to mention was the speedo cable. I just could not get it to come out, so I ended up just cutting it. And I can't really figure out what's holding it. So, you know, I've got a whole nother transmission over here, and this is your gear, and it's got this little slit right here, and basically there's a little piece of metal that unscrews or that sticks into that hole to keep this from coming out. And then on here there's a little slit that holds the cable in, but there's nothing there. If you see that right there, that's where that little slit would be. And I guess there's a cotter pin or some kind of pin that holds that. But on this one, there is nothing there holding that cable. There's nothing in there, in that little slit. So I don't know why the cable just will not come out. It makes no sense. And then on top of it, this thing, the whole gear assembly thing, after I remove that little metal that holds that in there, this will not come out either. So that's why I was pretty much stumped, and it took me forever to figure this thing out, or not really figure it out. I ended up just cutting it off. And finding a cable, a speedo cable, was a pain in the ass. There's like 5 different part numbers, and they are all discontinued. But when you punch in the the part number into Rock Auto, then it comes up with this one. So hopefully this works. Everything I read, though, this is a little bit shorter because it's for a CRX, but everybody says it works. And then I also got my primer today, but it's not the right color. It's not what I ordered. This is like a dark primer. So I don't know if this is going to work with the paint that I'm going to paint it, because this is darker and the paint I'm going to use is a lighter color. Hopefully it'll cover the primer. I thought about going to AutoZone and just buying some more gray primer, but we haven't done much today just because it's rained. I just kind of took the day off. One thing I did do is, after I painted this, it felt kind of rough, so I sanded it down with some like 400. I think it's like 600, and it's way smoother now. So I'm gonna clean that off, and I only sanded areas where you could see it. I need to finish over here a little bit, but it's a lot smoother, so I'm gonna put another coat of black paint on it and it should look real good. And I still got to work on these over here, sand those down. This primer is really rough, so I'm gonna have to sand all that down. And as far as cleaning the engine, I ordered one of those like wet sandblaster things that you attach to your pressure washer. It's like a hose that you stick onto the end of your pressure washer, and then it runs a hose into a bucket full of sand. And so I'm going to try to do that on the block and the transmission. That'll be here Saturday. And so in a couple days we should have that, and then we can start cleaning the engine. Alright, and we did a little undercar coating, and this fender well truck bed liner is actually what it is. It turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I didn't do a perfect job, but you know, it cleaned it up really well. I still need to do the other side. I need to spray it first and then let it dry, but it looks 100 times better than what this does, so I'm happy with it. And we also got this resprayed. It looks way better. It's so much smoother looking, and when I clear coat it, it'll be 100 times better. Alright, so we got this all sanded down with like a 320, and it's really smooth now at this point. Except for right there, it looks like I missed. Let me go back over that. But the rest of it's pretty smooth, and I ground those down a little bit better. And again, we're not doing a engine shave here, so at this point what you would do is you would use a short strand fiberglass to fill in all the little holes and gaps, because when you're welding, you're never going to get all those tiny little pinholes covered. And then you use that to fill in all the creases between the two panels, and you smooth it out and sand that down, and then you would primer it. But of course we're not doing all that. I just wanted to see if I can fill the holes with the welder. You know, I've never done anything like that before. I'm not a very experienced welder, as you can tell, but you know what, I'm not afraid to get in there and try. So I got a little bit more sanding to do, some right there, and it looks like over here, and then we'll prime it for the last time, hopefully, and then maybe run an 800 sand grit over it just to smooth out the primer, and then we can paint it. Although I don't have my paint yet. That's supposed to come Saturday, so I got plenty of time to get the rest of this bay cleaned up. And I need to remove some of this stuff, but I can't get this hose off, and I'm afraid I'm gonna break that, because you know, the heater core, that bends. So I guess what I'm gonna do is cover it all up with aluminum foil, because that seems to be the easiest thing. And I need to pull this speedo cable out. But you know, we're getting there, we're almost there. But I guess I'm gonna end this video right here. you know, thanks for watching. I appreciate you hanging out with me. But yeah, my ears are just, it's deafening. The longer you spend out here, the longer your ears just, they start hurting. And like when I go inside, then it's just like relief. And it just, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's just so loud. Anyway, I know I've said that a million times, but I'm gonna end the video right here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And we'll pick this up on the next video.